Good morning and welcome back to the channel. My name is Nick, aka The Limey, and welcome to Things I've Learnt on YouTube. Right, today's project, it's another garage video project. As you remember in one of my recent videos, I made some garage shelves, these guys right here. I like them so much, I made another set right over here. It's clearing up a lot of the space behind me. Okay, now as you can see with the garage, it's really dark. We've got one single light in the garage. I'll flip that on for everyone so we can see how bright it is. Yeah, there we go. I'll stand underneath it. Ha! And we can see that we're getting a little bit of light off it. Now this is not ideal in the winter months. I might want to do some work in here with the garage door closed as it is right now. And as you can see, really, it's just not bright enough. So today's project, what I'm going to do is I'm going to install a few lights in the overheads. Get that all sorted, get some lights, get some illumination in here, and then we can go from there. But before I start, guys, make sure you give the video a huge thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, make sure you like this video, and let's see what we're doing. Right now, the current setup is quite basic. It's one light bulb, there it is. Hey, bright idea, guys. What we're gonna do is we're gonna change that, and we're gonna install some LED panels. Now, I've balanced one in the rafters behind me. I've connected it to a plug extension, and as you can see straight away, one light gives us a massive amount of brightness. So that's what we're going to try and do today, guys. I'm going to install 3 in the roof, get this whole place set up like a Christmas tree, make it so we are nice and bright, nice and light for future projects, and then we can go from there. So guys, stay tuned. Let's see what we're going to do. Okay, so here we are. We're in the rafters. And what I've done is I've balanced that up on the rafter. Now obviously that's not ideal, it's not what I want, it's movable. It's not going to be the best solution, so we're going to put a wall here, so this is all going to be storage areas, so if we're working out the front of the garage, we're not kicking back dust, we're not making a mess, we're not doing all those annoying things that are going to drive me insane, okay? So we've got the light panel, it looks great, it works really well. Like I said, I've just connected it to an extension cable at the moment. I've stuck a plug on the end, which is not the correct way to install them. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna hack into the mains. I'm gonna take out the light bulb over here. We're gonna swap that out for another LED panel. I'm gonna make sure that everything is nice and bright. Right, so we are back in the kitchen. We are gonna do some wiring, we do some soldering. Guys, before I go any further, I must state, I am not an electrician. I'm not certified to do this work. Please make sure that if you're doing anything like this, you look at all your local laws, your safety laws, and please make sure you take all the precautions you can. I will get an electrician in, I will get an electrician to sign off on everything, and I will get an electrician to test all my work. Obviously, you can run your cables, you can do everything you want, you just can't connect things to the end point, to the power points, okay? So I will get an electrician in to come and certify everything, just for my safety, the house's safety, my family's safety, and obviously my neighbour's safety, as that is a garage that is connected to somebody else's garage, okay? So please, before I go any further, make sure that you take care of yourselves, okay? So the lights we bought are these wonderful things. I grabbed these on Amazon. I think they were £20 per light panel. Like I said, I've got 3 of them. There's 2 of them stuck together here. They're not very heavy. They're not big industrial units. And they really are, I'm hoping, quite a basic install. Here we go. So the lights themselves, they come in a few pieces. We've got a cross piece, we're going to use that to attach to the rafters. Some screws, easy peasy. Instructions, do we need them? Probably not, right? Apparently we do. And also the most important thing is they come with a transformer. So this changes the, I guess the voltage. Again, not an electrician, so don't know if this is right or not. It changes the 240 to the right power to make these work and use a limited amount of electricity. Now what's nice about this is this whole unit is all I need to connect to the wires. So it comes off, it means I'm not messing around with a big light panel. Okay, this is the size of the light panel so you guys can see it. Measurement wise, does it have the measurements on the box? They're 300 by 600 mil. So 30 centimeters by 600, by 60 centimeters. So they fit perfectly in the garage. we'll do some work on them to make sure they're in place, but they give off a nice bright light, okay? And if anyone is interested, they are 6,500 somethings. So what we're going to do is we're going to create the connections. So what we're going to do is we're going to connect this to the light, obviously. I've already measured out some wire, so I know roughly how long that's going to be. So what we're going to do is, the garage setup is quite standard. So there's the side garage door. Next to that is the single light switch with a double plug socket. So the power comes into the light switch, splits out to the plug sockets, and obviously goes up to power the single light bulb. What we want to do is replace that single light switch and put in a double switch. This way we can have a light going into the storage area. So we're going to put a wall up and create a storage area in the back of the garage, as well as run power to the front of the garage, where we're going to have a third light that will light up the front part of the garage, and of course the new plugs we're wiring in as well. So what I'm going to do is I'll trim this up, sort it all out. I'll connect this end to the transformer. That's going to be at the very end. This will be the transformer that sits under the garage door, or on the light under the garage door. I'll then run this part of the wire all through the rafters in the garage, connect the other end to the middle light. So this is the light where the existing light bulb is. I'm going to be replacing that with the middle light. And then I'm going to run a separate wire up from the switch. We're going to have two switches up to the back light, which will then mean that we can turn that one on independently and turn the front two lights on, so we can work as a workshop, okay? So I'm going to get cracking on that. Again, I'm not an expert, I'm not an electrician, I'm not a very good solderer, but I'm going to try and do belt and braces. I'm going to solder the wires together. I'm going to heat shrink the cable covers on them to make sure there's no risk. I'm going to probably electrical tape everything as well, just for the belt and braces, just for my safety and my sanity. And like I said, I'll get an electrician in to make sure everything is perfectly done. So guys, all I can do is get cracking. So let's do that. So that's that done. So I'm no expert, like I said. This is not something that comes easy to me. This is something that I've had to learn through watching YouTube videos, funny enough. So I spent quite a bit of time this morning, last couple of days, just watching YouTube, learning how to solder. I think by the third one I actually got it. I think that's the one you guys will see, opposed to all of the ones that I made mistakes on. So we've got the lights done, the electrics done for the backlight. We've got the lights done for the front light and the middle light. So that's all good, ready to go back into the garage in a few minutes. Like I said, this is something that I've learned. This is something that you do through trial and error, figuring out a technique that works for you. I think that we can see from all of the offcuts and the things, this is something that I've learned today. Okay guys, let's head out back to the garage, let's get these lights installed. Right guys, so I've got the switch plate off. There's a lot of wires going into various things. So as I know the power's turned off, what I'm going to do is snap a picture so I know exactly how it goes. There we go. So I've now got my, this is how it was. I'm going to unhook all those cables because we're going to replace the switch anyway. And then we will get everything rewired. And Bear wants to say hi. Hi Bear, you all right? Let's go. Right, so we've got the switch plate removed. So let's see if we can figure this out. So this is the power that comes from the mains. So this is the mains power. And like I said, I'm going to try and put a box in here so I can split it. Double switch here, up to the lights. Run a separate one for the electrics. Bounce that up and then we'll go from there. This is what powers, this guy right here is what is attached to the light switch. That's the bit that makes the light bulb work. And these guys right here are the ones that give power to the double plug socket. So, shouldn't be a problem putting in everything we need. Just gotta make sure everything actually works and nothing goes boom. That was a journey, wasn't it? Right, so we have, we've wired everything, we've run everything. I actually forgot to run the rear lights. I had to do that, which is a bit of a faff. I had to take half of it down to make it happen, but disaster strikes. I was screwing the switch plate on. I think probably an impact driver, not ideal. I'm gonna have to go buy another switch, which is fine. The switches aren't expensive, so I'll run out in a second and grab one of those. But also we have a small problem with our wirings. Turn that off, turn this one back on. Where's my switch gone? Little light, big light, off, little light, off, big light. This all cycles through. So I think that might be purely because I've connected two wires wrong. So I've connected both a brown and blue wire into each switch. So I think I should have brown on one side and a blue on the other side, but I'll fix that when I do the other one. The good news is nothing's burnt down, nothing's blown up, nothing's exploded. I'm gonna run my wires, tie everything up, which is one of the things I'll do. So when I'm out grabbing a new switch plate, I will grab some clips to tidy them all up. We can run the wire down to the front, and then we just need to connect it off to that. So we'll do that a little bit later. But yes, that did take a little bit longer than I was expecting it to do. I had a change of plan, I had a change of what I was going to do while I was in the middle of doing it. So we've ended up using the original switch plate, we've ended up just keeping everything as it was, just running that second wire, and it seemed a much easier way to do it. Right, so it's a fair amount of work, but as you can see, we now have the electricity back on, which means we have lights. So next job, whoa. Next job, all we have to do is just go through, we just need to pin everything down, get all the wires in place, get all the other light fixtures put in place. Let me show you what I'm gonna do with the light fixture, because right now, the light fixture itself is balanced just on the beams here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a bit of 2x4, put a bit of blocking in here. I'm gonna screw them straight in with the mounts that they come with, so we get a nice firm connection. So I need to cut a couple of bits of 2x4, I'm gonna do all three, and then I just need to swap out that old-fashioned light fixture right there with the brand new one that we've got, and everything will be good. Right guys, thought I'd stop, give you guys a bit of an update as to where we are. So I'm gonna be honest, this project's kind of kicked my ass a little bit. It's been probably the most difficult project we've done so far on the channel, and most of it is purely because of my lack of knowledge of electrics, how they work and how things like plugs and switches actually work. So I did a lot of research last night, it's actually the next day now. I stopped yesterday, I gave in, I was beat, and did some research, and I found out that I'm doing it right, but completely wrong. So in the UK, most plugs don't have a neutral, which is the blue cable. So I was trying to figure out a way to tie in the neutral with the live and get everything working properly. And we had this funky thing where if you turn one light switch on, it would turn a light on. You turn the same light switch off, or you turn the other light switch on, it would turn the light off. So it was kind of like you had to flick the switches backwards and forwards to try and work out which light. It was a big pain in the backside. So the idea originally was to have two separate switches, one for the storage area, one for the main part of the garage. I gave in, I'm not gonna lie. I pulled it all out, I basically started again. So let me give you a quick update as to where we are. Now most of you will recognize this. This, my friends, is the original switch. So all I've really achieved is I've run an extra circuit now. Probably not circuit's probably not the right word for it, but I've run an extra circuit through this pipe here that now goes to the one set of lights at the back. The original circuit, I guess, or cable run goes to the little light bulb that's above my head in a few seconds. And I've run another cable. So if I let you guys look at the roof, you'll see now we've got 3 cables coming out of there. 1, 2, 3. One goes to the back, one goes to the middle, and one goes to the plugs that I've wired in or got ready to be wired in for another project. But when I turn the one switch on now, I get lights and I get lights, okay? So I haven't actually connected the front 2 lights. We've got them all ready to go. Everyone's left me alone for a few hours today, so I'm gonna jump on it. I'm gonna get that last 2 panels wired in, and then we should be able to turn the switch on and all 3 should light up at the same time. It's one of those projects, kind of wish I never started, but you know what, I'm really glad I have. It's given me a real challenge. It's really pushed me to learn, really pushed me to try and get better at what I'm doing. I spent a lot of time on YouTube last night trying to figure out what was going on. The good news is, when I want to stick smart light switches in the main house, I'm hoping they've all got neutrals, which means we can put smart switch in all the plug sockets. Again guys, before we go any further, I just want to say, don't do this unless you are confident in what you're doing. Please make sure that you get it checked out by an electrician. Please make sure you take care and you make sure that you follow your local rules, your local regulations and your local laws. As I've mentioned before, I will get a proper qualified electrician to come in, double check all my work, make sure everything's right. For me, I took a picture of the switch before we started yesterday, and I've basically put it back to exactly how it was. So nothing's really changed in the switch apart from I've just tied in an extra bit for the light above my head, the backlight, and for the plug sockets. Okay, guys. So please take it seriously. Electric will kill you. Electricity even will kill you. Right. Let's get these last 2 wired in while I've got a nice quiet household, and get the rest of the garage lit up. Boom. Okay, so the bit I didn't record yesterday because I think everything died because I ran out of time, like I said, is the installation of these light panels. So they're really lightweight, they're really easy to install. It's a straightforward cross member. Because they didn't quite fit as I imagined them to, obviously we don't try to measure things on this channel. Because they didn't quite fit, what I've done is I've a bit of blocking in between my my studs or my beams, or whatever you want to call them in the garage roof, the rafters, probably is a great description for them, isn't it? I've done a bit of blocking, some 2x4. I've just literally screwed a couple of screws in from either side, and then I've attached them to that. So they're nice and safe, nice and sturdy. Like I said, they don't weigh anything, so it doesn't need to be hardcore screws or bolts or anything like that. But yeah, that's how we got to this point. And now what we will do is we're just gonna get it all wired in, tidy the wires up, run them all back, and then we are good to go. Right, let's get going. Right. Oh my gosh, guys, let's get a bit of a status update. Let's find out exactly where we are. So, it's day 2. It feels like day 22, if I'm honest. One of the hardest things about this project was that the fuse box is actually at the front of the house. So for every time I want to test it, I'm going to walk to the front of the house, through the garden, to the front of the house, flip a switch, turn around, walk all the way back, come here, turn the switch on, and find out it doesn't work. So I've definitely got my steps in, definitely lost a bit of weight in sweat equity. And guys, before we go any further, I just want to ask the question, does everyone use as many tools as I do for a simple job? I've got clippers, strippers, I've got screwdrivers, you name it. I've got tools everywhere. And the other question I've got is, what does everyone do with the leftover screws and bits? And I've got screws galore, just scattered all over the place from putting up the light fixtures, not using the screws that came with them, obviously. Don't ask me why, I used other screws. But right, so we've done it. I've just been, turned the fuse back on. I've not tested this yet, guys. You're with me for this. I really hope this works. I'm gonna flip the switch and let's see what happens. Here we go. Let's get the 2 lights in the picture. Oh, yes! We have success, everyone. We've got 3 light panels that work. And for those of you eagle-eyed people in there, you've noticed, I can't get me and the light bulb in, there we go. You've noticed that we still have the original light bulb. So when I went to disconnect the original light bulb and figure out what I was going to do and how I was going to connect it into the new run, I looked at where I put the lights, and as you can see, there's 2 there, and it was kind of nice and evenly spaced. I think because the light was still there, I hadn't left enough space for the next panel. I left too much space for the next panel. So if I took the light bulb out, it would give me a little dark spot right in front of where we're going to build the wall, which is right where I'm standing now. Hence the OSB board behind me that's going to be for our wall project. The downside, obviously, is now I've got great lighting. I've now discovered how filthy and messy my garage is. There's the TV that we need to fix or try and figure out what we're doing with that. There's a paddling pool, there's you name it, there's everything in here. We've not managed to get to the tip yet after lockdown. It's just been too busy. But guys, look, we've got it, we've got light. This means I can work in this place anytime, night or day, no matter how dark, no matter how dark or how bright it is. And obviously with no matter how bright it is, still doesn't mean I don't fall over things. Please give me a huge thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. I hope you've had fun on this build with me. As I've said a million times during this, please do not do this at home unless you are confident in your abilities, and please make sure that you follow all of your local laws, your guidance, your regulations, and make sure that you are safe. Till next time, guys, thank you so much. This has been Nick, aka The Limey, Things I've Learnt on YouTube, and I will be back with another project soon. Thanks a lot. Yeah, I'm back. One of the worst things about working a project when you're in the rafters of your garage is leaving things in the rafters that you know you're going to want to find. Thanks again. Make sure you give me a huge thumbs up, like, subscribe. Catch you soon.
Get it, comma and a comma, gotta get it.